I am Nick, or Dream, or Sushi, or whatever the fuck you know me by. Today, I'm going to be talking about the new, most efficient way to hunt shiny GMax Pokemon. So the first thing we're going to do is, just like every other time, we're going to go to our den of our desired Pokemon, and we're going to do the regular exploit where we go into our options. We're going to turn down text speed to slow, and we're going to make sure our autosave is off. We're going to save those settings, we're going to save our game, and then we're going to reset until we get a purple beam. You reset to get a purple beam by clicking yes on a wishing piece. Would you like to save your adventure? Yes. And then if it's red, you exit to home and you redo it. We do this over and over again until it's purple. When it's purple, instead of exiting out and resetting, we let the save happen, and then we start our hunt from there. So I'm going to fast forward the footage a little bit. And then you see here, I will be getting a purple beam. I preemptively click home, but I notice it's purple, go back in, and now we have our purple beam. This is now our anchor den, which means that it cannot go away unless we make it go away by choice, by putting in another wishing piece somewhere else, or by completing the raid. So we go back into our options, we can go back to fast, but we're going to keep autosave off. You want autosave off for the entire time you're hunting this and the entire time you're raiding it once you get it. We're going to go and we're going to save our game. And this is where the new method begins. So everything's been the same up to this point. We now have our purple beam inside the GMax den that we want. So now the new steps are, we're going to check our first one, just in the off chance that for some reason our very first den was shiny, in which case, congratulations, you now have a shiny raid. You cannot manipulate this raid, because we saved right before it. It will always be this Pokemon. It's not shiny. I just wanted to check to make sure. So we're going to exit out, we're going to go back, and then we're going to start the new farm method straight from the beginning. So this new farm method is based off of the RNG manipulation that was found on Reddit. I'll link to the thread that I got all this information from. And basically, the first 3 Pokemon after you load into a save are always going to be the exact same shininess. I think they're going to be the exact same everything, but shininess is a factor that carries on between all 3 of them. So since that Grimmsnarl that we just checked was not shiny, that Grimmsnarl, that if we went into it again with this one, would still not be shiny, and the next 2 raids after this would not be shiny. So we're going to do the regular time skip. We're going to go to invite players, we're going to go to settings, desync from the clock, and we're going to move 1 day forward. Go back in the game, quit, and that's going to reset our anchor den to a different Pokemon, to our second Pokemon, which happens to be another 5-star Grimmsnarl. We're going to go invite people. Again, we're going to go down, system, time, date, move the day forward once. And this will be our second skip. This is going to be our third Pokemon, which is, again, still static, not shiny. 4-star Guardy. So we're going to go through. Skip again, 1 day. Then we exit out. Now, we have reset 3 times. This is now our 4th Pokemon, a 5-star Gardevoir. So now this one can be shiny. So we're going to go in and we're going to check. And it is not shiny. So what we're going to do is we're going to soft reset the game by exiting out. And we're going to go back in. And this is where the steps, like the new steps begin, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to go in, and the first three Pokemon we see are going to be the exact same 3. Grimmsnarl, Grimmsnarl, 4-star Gardevoir, and then our 4th is going to be re-rolled because the 4th was never guaranteed. Only its shininess will stay the same. And since it was not shiny, our 4th will still not be shiny. So we're skipping a day ahead. We're going past our first Grimmsnarl. And now we are going to save our game here after the first Grimmsnarl. And now our original second Grimmsnarl that you see here is now our first in our count to 4. So that was Pokemon number 1. Let's do a reset. 1 day ahead. We will exit out, and then it'll be the 4-star Gardevoir. That was our old number 3. This is now our new number 2. We're going to invite people, and we're going to skip. Make sure you are doing this offline so that you are not spamming people on your friends list for no reason. Now this den right here was our 5-star Gardevoir. It changed to a 3-star Creamy, but its shininess is still exactly the same. So we're going to skip past it, and we're going to go a day ahead since we already know that that Pokemon cannot be shiny. We're going to go ahead, and now this would be in our original lineup, this would be our 5th Pokemon. In our new lineup, after we saved after 1 reset, this is now our 4th Pokemon. And so now this Morgrem can be shiny, and if it shined, where we saved in step 2 would now allow us to reset for this shiny spot. So we're going to go in, and we're going to check if it's shiny, and it is not. So we exit out for a soft reset, and this is where it loops. We start this process all over again from step 1 of phase 2. So basically, after you finish the setup and you've done the farm loop, you just need to keep track of where you are every single time you soft reset. You need to count 1 day, save the game, reset once, reset twice, reset 3 times. After your 3rd reset, your 4th Pokemon will be there, post your last save, right? You check for shiny. If it's not shiny, soft reset, close your game, repeat. You do this over and over again. And the reason why we save in step 2, like I said before, was because if our shiny check turns out to be shiny, we are then set up for doing the second half of the farm, which is just resetting to make sure that our den hits the Gmax. So for the rest of the video, I'm going to be playing footage of me continuing to do the phase 2 loop. However, I'm going to talk to you about what would happen if we found the shiny. If that Morgrem was shiny, what would we have done then? Well, then we would stop saving altogether. So what would happen is when we soft reset after seeing it was shiny, we would go open the game, we would have the same 3 Pokemon, right? All in a row. The Grim, the 4-star Garda, the 3-star Creamy, right? Then we would have the 4th slot, which used to be our shiny Morgrem. That will now be re-rolled to a different shadow. But that raid will 100% be shiny, the same way that the Morgrem that used to be in that 4th slot was. So at that point, we check the shadow. If the shadow is not the Gmax you are looking for, reset your game, close it, reopen it, go ahead, 3 jumps again. You'll go past the exact same Pokemon. In our case, we would have gone past Grimmsnarl, 5-star Grimmsnarl, 4-star Gardevoir, 3-star Creamy, right? And then the 4th one, we would check the shadow again. And so you're basically doing the reverse of what the old strategy was. The old strategy was that we would go to the den, we would get a purple beam, and we would keep resetting until we saw a Gmax. And when we saw a Gmax, we would go in to check if it was shiny. We're doing the exact opposite now. We are getting the shiny out of the den, and then we are resetting the den for the Gmax. Once we have a shiny in that 4th slot, we are guaranteed that every single time, as long as we don't save again, right? Every single time, that 4th Pokemon is going to be randomized, what Pokemon it is, but it will always be shiny. So now you understand why this farm method is insane, because you're not hitting the 1% chance to hit the Gmax and the 1 in 4,000 chance to hit the shiny. Now we are hunting the shiny, then going for the 1%. So we can hold on to one while hunting the other. So the real time investment in this new strategy is finding the shiny out of your raid. It can be any slot. The second you start this, it will be somewhere in line in front of you. It could be the 4th one in front of you. It could be the 3046th one in front of you. But if you keep up this process, eventually you will hit the shiny on your 4th one. And when you do that, you can then exit out the game. You no longer are doing the phase 2 farm loop. You are only skipping ahead 3 days and checking the shadow of the 4th mon for Gmax. Once you hit the Gmax on that shadow, you don't go into the raid. You only looked at the shadow, right? You didn't like invite anyone. You didn't go in without trainers, right? You back out of the raid and you save in front of it. You will now have an anchor den, because it was a wishing piece, that has a guaranteed shiny Gmax inside of it that you can repeatedly let other people into online to catch. And because it was a 1% Gmax, you will have a 100% catch rate on this Pokemon. However, you will only be able to catch one yourself. So what you would do is you would have a group of friends, right? Presumably a bunch of people doing this exact same thing with you, so that your odds are better, right? You doing 4,000 resets is going to take a fucking long time, but you and 9 friends doing 4,000 resets is going to take less than a week. You know what I mean? So one of you is bound to find it, and then you guys can just keep inviting each other until you catch it. You can even catch multiple copies of it. You know, that's like the gray line, right? Having legal clones of a Pokemon, right? As trade FOD, or a lot of people like having their own OT on Gmaxes, so you can leverage your den to get into other people's dens. And so like my friend group can use my shiny raid to get into someone else's shiny raid, and that friend group can use their shiny raid to get in my shiny raid. Because it's an anchor den, it won't go away unless I beat it and save afterwards, or if I go drop an anchor piece somewhere else. Even if it hits midnight, even if it's the next day, even if it is a year in the future, as long as I did not save after beating the raid or after putting a new wishing piece down, that den will always be the shiny Gmax den. So you don't have to worry about that. The way you would farm other people's raids while holding on to yours is to just reset your game, right? Make sure that the den is still there. Of course it is. You haven't saved since then. Don't go inside your den. Go do someone else's raid, save after their raid. Never turn your autosave back on until you're done with your raid, until you've caught it and you're done letting other people into it. And then you go into other people's raids, save after catching theirs, and then you're basically just resaving in front of your den again, which is still the Gmax shiny. So, good luck. Get out there, start hunting. If you get a shiny den, and I taught you how to do this shit, hit me up on Discord. You know me. Dream and sign sushi, all one word. Hashtag 4444 is my number. Hit me up. Give me inside that raid. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, good luck, everybody. Go get those Gmaxes.